Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At the Bench's YouTube channel. We're going to look at a basic overview of the tools and equipment that you don't necessarily need, but what we can use for wax carving. You don't have to have all this equipment. These are just some of the equipment that I have accumulated over the many years that I've been working. You can start off with the most simplest of equipment and spend the money as you feel the need to progress. So wax carving, what is it all about? It's, as the name implies, it's simply carving wax. Now there is wax that has been specially developed for model making for the jewelry industry. You don't have to use candle wax or beeswax or anything like that. That tends to be really, really soft, but you can buy different types of wax. So what do I mean by different types of wax? You can buy wax that is very, very brittle. You can get wax that really takes a high amount of sharpness and detail. You can buy injection waxes. Lots of waxes available out on the market. I've got a couple on my desk here, and they also come in different forms as well. One of the most popular brands is called Ferris. This is simply a box of Ferris filer wax. What do you do with this wax? The clue's in the title. It's basically a wax for filing. This comes in a box. It's a variety of slabs. What size are these slabs? These are 3 5/8 in length, 1 7/16 in width. That's imperial. What's that in English, I hear you ask? These slabs are 37 millimeters by 92 millimeters. These are brilliant if you want to basically produce sort of almost two-dimensional, nothing with too much three-dimensional detail. They come in various widths from about 4 millimeters, 5 up to about 6 millimeters. This is a blue set. There's another set I think that comes in green. A brilliant type of wax, flat sheet wax. Then you can buy extruded wax or formed wax. And again, this is green wax this time. This has different properties to the blue. This comes in a tube. So why would you want a tube? Well, it's simple. If you want to make a ring, for instance, you have a nice even cylinder that you can then use a wax blade in your saw to simply saw off the required widths. That's completely round. You can also buy like a signet ring, this particular style. This is just simply called Ferris green wax again, and this is in a different shape. As you can see, we've got this sort of shape here. Again, this is the bottom of the ring here. This is where your finger would go in, and then you have this area across the top here. Brilliant types of waxes. It saves you so much hassle. There's a lady who is world famous for her waxes and wax carving, and that's a lady called Woolf. She developed her own wax. This is a gold type of wax, and I'm lucky to have a big slab of it here as well. Again, some people will favor this, some people will favor blue, some people will favor green, depending on what they want to do. Each has its own properties. A simple overview of the tools and equipment. I'm not going into an awful lot of detail. Different types of shapes of waxes. Now, how do you come to shape wax? Well, wax is very easy shapes. You can simply get a scalpel or a penknife and simply carve at the wax to shape the wax. You can drill the wax. You can use a pendant drill, simply even a twist drill in your fingers to drill the wax. You can even buy wax blades that go in your piercing saw. And that is quite a coarse blade that is actually been twisted and spiraled. So there are teeth running all the way around the blade. If you try to use a normal piercing saw, the teeth are too fine. They will clog up with the wax as you cut it. But this type of blade is superb because when you're sawing with your piercing saw, where's my piercing saw? There it is there. because the teeth go all the way around the blade, you're not forced to cut in the one direction. You can come sideways, you can come backwards, so you're not limited to the depth of the frame here, depending on what you're actually cutting out. Very, very handy to have. These very, very rarely break or wear out, so I've had this one for quite a few years now. Slightly bent, but still very effective. So we can carve it, we can drill it, we can cut it. We can even file, as the blue wax suggests, filer wax. Again, I would not use a normal needle file or a hand file. You can get specific wax files. This is quite a rough file, great for initial shaping. Flat on the one side, turn it over, we've got a rounded section here. One row of teeth on this bottom half here, a double row on the top here. Really, really aggressive cut. Great for initial shaping. So with what we've got here, you can do an awful lot of shaping of the wax. If you wanted to make the insides of these tubes here slightly bigger, you can buy this wooden, almost like a triblet, like a mandrel, but down the one edge is a sharp blade, and the idea would be is that you get your wax or your wax tube or your wax sleeve, whatever it is you've just cut off, you put it down onto the mandrel with the blade here, and then you turn this, and as you turn, the blade will cut the inside of the tube, which will then enlarge the hole to the required size. It enlarges it nice and evenly all the way around. Sure, you can simply use the file if you wanted to file the inside, but this is ideal because it will take an even amount of wax off the inside. It also has the finger sizes down on the flat, on the sticky label that we have stuck on here, but I would always use my mandrel just to make sure you are getting the right size. Really, really simple. If you want to go that little step further, you can buy some wax carving tools. And this comes in a little wallet, 12 different types of tool. Some are pointed, some have flat ends, some have round scooped ends, some have almost little spoon ends, loads of different styles that enables you to scrape and shape at the wax. Quite a nice, inexpensive set there. Again, Kate Woolf, one of the leading experts in wax carving, has produced her own tools. This is a gorgeous set. It's their precision wax carving tools. This is a fantastic set that comes in a variety of different sizes, different widths, different shapes, pointed, scooped, flat, angled ends, various widths, and very, very sharp. These are absolutely brilliant, again, for shaping, for free-forming wax. You can then finish off your wax with little bits of perhaps emery paper that you may have. Make sure it's nice and clean to clean down the wax. The hand tools are pretty much not inexpensive, but readily available to everybody out there. You can start off with a file, with a scalpel, with a penknife, and carve and shape the wax. But if you want to go that a little bit step further, and perhaps you want to start to shape wax quicker and faster, well then there's equipment out there that again you can buy that will help speed up the process. And you can simply put in nice coarse burrs into perhaps your Dremel or your flex shaft, and you can buy specific burrs designed for wax shaping. So how are they different? Well, as you have the different piercing saw blade, the teeth are wider, not as many of them. We have these types of burrs where the teeth are very, very wide, they are very, very open. The wax won't clog up these types of burrs. They won't overheat, so the wax won't melt and get clogged up into the burrs. So you can simply get your flex shaft or a pendant drill, put them into the handpiece, and you can use it freehand and shape it and to form it. That step further again, There are tools out there with little milling tables. I don't have the adjustable one, unfortunately, but this is a little milling table that would fit into a Benchmate system. What is a Benchmate system? It's one of these systems that fits onto the side of your bench made by GRS Tools. This type of device would fit onto a dovetail plate that you would have on your bench. If you don't have one on your bench, like I don't have one here, you can buy one of these sort of clamp-on bench dovetail brackets from New Concepts. That clamps onto the side of your bench very nicely. That then enables the Benchmate. It doesn't matter whether you've got this brand new one or you've got access, or you can pick one of the old versions up quite cheaply, and that would fit on as well, no problems at all. And within that system, the milling table that we've got would actually fit into the handpiece. And if you have your flex shaft handy, your pendant drill, a number 30 handpiece fits up into the milling table as well. And as a result of that, you can then put in your burrs into the handpiece, and then you've got a nice table that will enable you to come along with your waxes to get a nice, beautiful 90-degree cut. If you wanted a straight one, if you wanted to cut a channel, you could fasten in perhaps a round or a very short burr. And again, you can cut nice even channels along your pieces of wax. So that is a brilliant, brilliant idea. That would fit into the system that we've got there. Your pendant drill would simply fasten into the handpiece, and that would go up inside, just like we've got there. And obviously then the burrs would go in, you would tighten the burrs up, and that would be your table that would be operated then by your pendant drill. If you wanted to use it as perhaps something like a lathe, for instance, and you wanted to spin the wax, I've got a little adapter here that would fit into your handpiece, and then you would melt on a little bit of wax onto the end, and that then would fit into your Jacob's chuck, your number 30 handpiece. Let me just open this a bit more, just pop that in. So that would fit in, you would tighten that up with a key, and you have now got the ability to spin the wax round, and using your wax carving set, whether it be the basic set there or the Kate Woolf one, or even a normal file or a scalpel, as the wax is spinning, wearing suitable eye protection, you can come along and use a nice file perhaps, and you can round off the edges. You can get a scalpel, you can come along the blades. What you may need to do is actually turn the pendant drill so it's going the opposite way, so it's coming towards you, and you can use that to make a pattern along the wax. You can even buy an adapter, there's always an adapter for everything, that will allow the number 30 handpiece to be fastened. There's a little collar, and again that would actually fit into the Benchmate system as well, and that would allow you to turn the whole contraption. So this would be fastened onto your bench, this would be nice and stable, and you can turn this and basically use it as a lathe. So now you've got your two hands free to shape the wax, to carve the wax, to put that groove down it, and so forth. But don't forget, wax also likes heat as well, and you can use heat to shape it and to mold it. I've got a wax carving pen here. Again, this is something that you can buy. This is an electric version, variable heat, so you can gently melt the wax, or you can simply burn it at a high temperature that will obliterate it and burn it away completely. This is an electric one, nice fine point on that one. Or if you didn't want to run to the expense of that, you can buy these little handhelds called a Speedy Wax Pen. It's an AA battery built into the handpiece, and you simply push the button, and as you push the button, the element on the end here heats up, and as a result you can then shape the wax and burn the wax and mold the wax and put in decoration into the wax using that as well. Or if you've got a simple soldering iron, for instance, you could do exactly the same thing with that. So I know that was quite a rushed film. I just simply wanted to show you what was out there that would enable you to shape and to carve wax. So what good is having a wax of a piece of jewellery? Well, that wax can be either lost wax cast by yourself, or you can send it off to a casting company. From that wax, they can produce it in silver or in gold, perhaps. Then you'd have an exact replica of what you have made up in wax in your chosen metal. If you have it made up in silver, perhaps you can even have it back from the casting company. You can finish it, you can refine it, make sure it's absolutely perfect, perhaps put a bit more detail into it, then send it back to the casting company, who would then perhaps make a mold of it, inject it with wax, and make an unlimited quantity of that piece of jewellery for you, almost like mass production. So although you may not want to go to the expense of that, but the ability to be able to carve a wax, even using the most basic piece of equipment like a knife or even a file, anybody can shape a piece of wax into exactly what they want. And also being able to carve and shape the wax into a piece of jewellery that is going to be life size gives you an idea of the scale, gives you an idea of the size, also gives you an idea of what perhaps the final weight would be in your chosen metal. So although wax carving is and seems quite a specialized technique, it is available to everybody out there using simple blocks of wax, sheet, thick blocks, almost like ring blanks. You can buy it in rod, in half round, you can buy it in pair, half pair section. It is, yeah, half pair section, because I've got some myself. You can make your models in wax, which perhaps you may not even be able to do in silver or in gold. And from that wax, as I said, you can send it off to the casting company and make something absolutely unique just for yourself. So that's a really quick overview of the equipment that we can use on wax carving. Over the next few films, I'll be going into something a little bit more detailed, showing you exactly how we can use the individual tools here we have out on our bench. In the meantime, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like this film, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below. Love to read what you have to say, and I'll see you in the next film. My name is Andrew Berry for At The Bench's YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye-bye.